This woman is Mineko Goto, the executive secretary of Zazen Group, Japan's largest company. She will host deadly games organized by the company. In the first game, if a person can't solve the riddle, a giant iron ball will fall on them, crushing them to death. While participants watch in fear, Mineko explains the reason behind the game and its rules. She reveals that the Zazen Group is searching for a talented person to be the group's chairman. He will become Mr. Zazen's successor. Zazen Group's gross assets are 100 trillion yen, and they are conducting a test to select a successor. The person who wins the final not only becomes the next chairman of Zazen Group but also receives 100 billion yen. The company is building the world's best amusement park called Dream Kingdom, where all the games will take place. However, the first game will happen in this area, and those who pass it will be allowed to enter the Dream Kingdom for the final selection. At the beginning of the game, Mineko tosses a dice into a container, showing its face on the screen for everyone to see. She throws the dice 3 times, with each throw showing the number 1. After the 4th throw, she covers the container, starting the actual game. Participants must rely on their intuition and observation skills to guess the number. Each face of the dice has 6 large rings numbered from 1 to 6. Participants pick a ring to stand in, corresponding to their guesses. If they guess right, they can enter the Dream Kingdom, but if they guess wrong, a real iron ball will fall on them. They have 30 minutes to decide, and anyone not in a ring by then gets disqualified. Also, chatting with others or sharing answers leads to disqualification. Mineko rings the gong, kicking off the 30-minute countdown. Zero, a math whiz, and his pals Chikara, Hiroshi, and Suonao are among the participants. When Chikara hears the rules of the dangerous game, he freaks out. This sparks an argument between him and Hiroshi. Chikara wonders if they can stay safe by leaving the ring immediately after a wrong guess. Hiroshi calculates that with just a 1/6 chance of survival, there's an over 80% chance of death. A gangster named Seiji jumps into the discussion, suggesting that the chances of rolling a 2 to 6 are also 1/6. Another gangster, Sakura, shares his theory that the dice might be rigged, suggesting its mass is shifted, causing certain faces to come up more often. The dice is unstable because its weight isn't balanced, which could explain why the number 1 kept appearing repeatedly. He thinks that Mineko instructed them to rely on intuition and observation to guess the number, so choosing 1 based on the dice's weight is a decision made through observation. Seiji counters that if Sakura is so sure about his answer, he should be the first to step into the ring. Amidst the discussions, Mineko speaks up and offers the participants a favor. She says that anyone in a ring when the game ends, regardless of their guess being right or wrong, will be allowed to join the next game. However, this will apply to them if they are still alive. While the participants ponder over the offer, Shurub, a third-year student from a private middle school, heads to the number 1 ring. Seeing this, other participants follow him into the ring, thinking he might have figured something out. However, Zero is still contemplating the answer. With Mineko's statement about being allowed into the next game if they're still alive, Zero considers that they might not need to guess right. He believes that if they can proceed without guessing the correct number, then guessing right might not be essential to winning the game. Zero's friend, Chikara, who suspects Zero of deceit, decides to join the others at Ring 1. Meanwhile, Zero continues to ponder Mineko's words and how she tossed the dice. He notices something odd about Mineko's previous dice throw. Firstly, she didn't explicitly state that the screen would show them the dice inside the container. She merely mentioned that if she threw the dice, the participants would see a dice on the screen. There was no mention of it showing the face of the dice she tossed. Zero speculates that the dice shown on the screen were actually thrown into the container in the opposite direction the 4th time, meaning what they saw on the screen was completely fake. If that's the case, Mineko didn't roll 1 3 times in a row. Therefore, the probability of getting 1 is just 1/6 like the others. With that said, he enters the second ring, still unsure if it's the correct answer. After hearing Zero's explanation, the participants leave the first ring. Zero sits near the walls of the ring, and his friends follow him, putting their trust in him. Then, Zero asks Shurub if he won't come out of the ring. Shurub responds that he won't, saying that the game is like picking up money on the ground. Yuki Hikawa, one of the participants, overhears this and murmurs something in Seiji's ears. With only 3 minutes remaining, the duo calls Chikara and informs him that the actual answer is number 3. They do this because they want to sit near the ring's walls like Shurub and Zero, but if they do, other participants will follow suit. They lie to Chikara that 3 is the answer so they can deceive him. When other participants attempt to enter the ring, Seiji informs them that it's not the correct answer and that they're just trying to trap Chikara. With 1 minute left, one participant tells others that the correct answer is 5. This is because 5 appears most frequently when rolling a dice. Everyone enters ring number 5, but when Sakura tries to join, he's kicked out. When asked, Zero confirms that 5 might be correct. This is because dice are crafted unevenly, causing opposite sides to have different weights, shifting the center of mass. Thus, 5 is more likely to occur. His friends ask if they should switch rings, but Zero insists on staying. In fact, he tells Chikara to join him in ring number 2, claiming they're trying to trick him. With 10 seconds left and nothing in mind, Sakura enters ring number 4. The guards lock the door, preventing anyone from changing their location. Realizing that Chikara will likely be crushed under the iron ball, Zero decides to help his friend. He jumps from one ring to the other, moving Chikara away from the center. Zero then instructs him to keep his knees up, back against the edge, and sit attached to the fence. As time runs out, everyone hopes their ring number is correct. When Mineko opens the container, it's revealed that the correct answer is 4. It appears only Sakura has won, and everyone else will face death. Soon, the iron balls are launched, and fortunately, all those sitting near the fence survive. This is when Zero tells Chikara that he had no idea which number it would be, because he thought the game wasn't about guessing which face comes up. The moment Manito said that anyone in the ring when the game ends can still enter the next game, Zero realized the point wasn't which face comes up, but if they're observant enough to notice a gap between the iron ball and the ring. Zero didn't know the size of the iron ball from the ground, so he wasn't confident. The surviving participants were happy until they saw the chaos in ring number 5, where everyone had been crushed to death. Mineko then announces that the remaining participants in the rings can enter the main competition. She's about to question Zero about violating the rules, but Zazen Group Secretary Kuroda gives her a message, stopping her. It turns out that Zazen Group Chairman, Mirio Zazen, has decided to overlook Zero's rule violation because he believes things are going to get more interesting. The participants are brought to the park, Dream Kingdom, where the next game, Quarter Jump, will be played. Mineko briefs Zero on the rules. He'll stand on an elevated platform. For only 10 seconds, his mask will be removed so he can look around. After 10 seconds, he'll put his mask back on, and the platform will rotate. Then, Zero has to jump in the right direction towards the safe exit. If he jumps towards any of the 3 out directions, he'll fall, losing not only the game but also his life. The game begins, and the platform rotates. Completely disoriented, Zero can't recognize where the safe exit is. He cannot even throw things to check for safety because doing so would disqualify him. If both participants jump correctly, the one who used less time wins. They're limited to 10 minutes in each direction. In Quarter Jump, 4 people act as voices, standing in each direction, whether they stand in the safe or out area. If they can make the participant jump in their direction, they earn 1 ring. So, the participant must deduce which one of them is standing in the safe area. As the 10-minute timer begins, Zero hears his friend Hiroshi's voice coming from the out direction. When asked why he's there, Hiroshi explains he volunteered for the game to save his friend. Claiming he's in the safe area, Hiroshi advises Zero to jump. As he expresses relief that he can finally be helpful, Zero recalls a time when Hiroshi apologized to him for causing trouble. The conversation confirms to Zero that it's indeed Hiroshi. While conversing with him, Zero asserts that his friend would never tell him to jump towards the out area, even if someone pointed a gun at him. Trusting it's his friend, Zero decides to jump in that direction, believing it to be safe. However, before taking the leap, he decides to test Hiroshi once more, asking him work-related questions, which Hiroshi answers accurately. Soon, Zero realizes that not only the voice of Hiroshi but also the memories are real. Despite this, he decides to ask one last question. He asks Hiroshi to look at his glasses temple, where they hook onto his ears. Inside, there are numbers and symbols representing the measurements of the frame and lenses. Since Zero had just seen the number earlier that day, he wants Hiroshi to repeat it for him. However, this is where the imposter gets caught. It turns out the company's man deceived Hiroshi into thinking he was helping Zero, while actually recording his voice for a speech synthesis system to create an AI voice. When the imposter claims he bought the glasses a long time ago and the readings are gone, Zero immediately senses something's off. He exposes the imposter and saves himself from falling to his death. After the first failed attempt, it's now time for the second voice to convince Zero to jump towards him. That person is Zero's high school classmate, Kazuya. Earlier that day, Kazuya protected Zero from gangsters, strengthening his claims of being in a safe spot. He tells Zero that he always looked up to him in high school and took inspiration from him. While he talks, it's revealed that he's standing behind the out area, and indeed, wants Zero to die. It seems he's brought his personal grudge to the game, and Zero was completely unaware of it. Zero was about to take a step, but suddenly he stops. When Kazuya asks why he stopped, Zero responds with a question. He asks Kazuya if his shoes are pointing straight at him. Kazuya looks through the peephole but can't see his feet. Desperate for Zero to die, Kazuya assures him that his feet are straight and he can jump without further thought. This is when Zero catches Kazuya's lies. Earlier, he had tripped, causing his shoelaces to untie. Now, Zero realizes that if Kazuya were in the safe area and could see his shoes clearly, he would have warned him immediately. Someone is about to risk their life to jump, but their shoelace is untied, indicating the person on the other side couldn't see it. The iron wall created a blind spot in front of Kazuya. As he gets caught, Kazuya admits to Zero how much he hates him. It turns out that back in high school, Kazuya was a top student not only academically but also in sports. However, when Zero joined the school, he began surpassing Kazuya in everything. There was nothing Kazuya could beat him at. But before the last relay, which their swim team had to win after a previous victory, Zero took pity on him and refused to be the anchor leg of the team so that Kazuya could take his place. The team lost the match that day, and Kazuya was humiliated by other team members for it. Since then, he has been trapped by Zero's shadow. When he saw Zero in the Dream Kingdom, he decided he would defeat him, or even kill him no matter what. Zero was shocked to hear this, but remains calm and forgives Kazuya. Now, only two directions remain, with two voices standing at the same time. The correct answer is one of the two. The company decides to send Seiji as the third voice. Entering the out area, Seiji immediately claims that he's on the safe side and urges Zero to jump in his direction. Zero recalls that when he stood at the edge, the person in the out area couldn't see his feet. Now, he can use a coin and place it in the blind spot. If Seiji can't identify the coin Zero placed at the edge, then he's in the out area. If his answer is correct, he's in the safe area. With this thought, Zero places the coin in the blind spot and asks Seiji if it's a 10 yen coin or a 100 yen coin. To waste some time, Seiji tries engaging Zero in conversation. He admits to hating Zero but claims that since he's in the safe spot, he has no choice but to guide Zero in the right direction to earn a ring. He resents having to save Zero in this game. When Zero asks about the coin again, Seiji responds that it's too shiny to see clearly. Soon after, Mr. Zazen's secretary gives Seiji a mirror attached to a rod, allowing him to see the coin easily. Upon closer inspection, Seiji reveals that it's neither a 10 yen nor a 100 yen coin, but a 50 yen coin. This leads Zero to believe that Seiji's side is the safe area. However, before making a final decision, he decides to check the other direction. He places a coin in the other direction and asks the other voice what coin it is. The voice turns out to be Miniko, who claims she can't see the coin because she isn't wearing her contact lenses. She tells Zero that she's his savior and he should jump in her direction. Now, Zero is torn between whom to choose. He once again places two coins in Seiji's direction and asks him about them. This time, Seiji immediately answers the question, raising suspicions in Zero. Previously, he took too much time to respond, even claiming the surface was too shiny. But this time, the response was quick, making Zero believe that Seiji might have used a stool or a mirror to see the coins. Suddenly, Zero gets an idea. He places the coin in Seiji's direction but in such a way that he can't see it from the front. Without hesitation, Seiji immediately uses the mirror and gives the correct answer. Realizing that Seiji is indeed utilizing some kind of tool, Zero wastes no time and jumps in the direction of the safe area, completing the game. Mr. Zazen, in his wheelchair in the safe area, puts his hands on Zero's shoulders and orders him to step forward. Unbeknownst to Zero, there is a hole in front of him, and those hands are not Mr. Zazen's but mere prosthetics. Realizing Mr. Zazen can't reach his shoulder because he is in a wheelchair, Zero grabs the prosthetic hands and throws them away. The guard holding the hands barely manages to survive. Zero then takes off his mask and tells Mr. Zazen he won't play his nasty games anymore. Mr. Zazen responds that as long as Zero is here, whether he lives or dies will be decided by his finger alone. Zero barely makes it in time, but he passes. Depending on Shirob's result, he can or cannot be the winner. Now, it's Shirub's turn. He is taken to the platform, where he employs a clever trick to secure his win. He bends and joins his thumbs at the joint while shielding them from view with his hands. Then, he asks the voices if the tips of his thumbs are joining. His head prevents others from seeing the thumbs from above using the mirror, while his hands block the side view of the thumbs. Sakura, who is in the safe area, manages to see the placement of the thumbs. As soon as he gives the correct answer, Shirub jumps in his direction, finishing the game in a mere 40 seconds. It turns out that as Zero returned to the base of the building, he saw that the company used long rod mirrors to see the coin placement. While Shirub was being taken to the platform, Zero intervened. Not wanting Shirub to fall victim to the company's dirty tricks, he warned him, saying, "Don't force yourself to jump if you still want to live." He then threw his coins to the floor, giving Shirub another hint that only he and Shirub knew. He then explained to his friends that his message to Shirub was cryptic. In the message, "If you still want to live," one of the words, when read backwards, meant mirror. The reason behind throwing the coins was to inform Shirub about the blind spots, and how he could use the coins to determine them. After winning the game, Shirub manages to get 3 rings in total. When he meets Zero, he suggests that Zero shouldn't help him again. Though he intercepted the hidden message, it was difficult for him to understand if he should trust his enemy or not, which, according to him, made things even more confusing. Soon, Sakura and Seiji team up with Zero, and the trio sign up for a game called Triangle Maze. What's even crazier is that whoever fails to get the correct answer will drown. As the game begins, the trio is taken to a triangular room. Each of them rolls a dice before the game starts. According to the rules, the person who gets the smallest number will go inside a circle. Zero rolls a 1, so he is cuffed to a pole in the circle. Soon, Zero gets trapped in a cylindrical glass, and the only way out is if he answers the given question. The other teams playing the same game are Shirub's team and Zero's friend's team. To win, they simply have to answer the only question Mineko asks. A tablet is provided to the participants with all 25 options for the question. From choice 1 to 25, the participants have to choose one they think is the answer. They can use a sketchbook and pen to organize their thoughts. They have only 30 minutes, and only the first team that answers the question correctly will be given 3 rings in total, 1 for each member. Mineko has come up with an evil way to give the participants an idea of how much time they have left. They have prepared a stopwatch in each room called the Human Pillar Stopwatch. Water will be poured in when the game starts, so the participants have to look at the rising water level to see how much time they have left. The time to complete the game is 30 minutes, but at 25 minutes, the water will reach the level where it will drown the person. When one team gives a correct answer, the water will stop being poured into all tanks. Each team will get only 1 chance to send an answer. So, if they fail once, they can only wait for another team to answer the question correctly. Zero is enraged that Mr. Zazen continues to play with people's lives, but he's forced to participate in the game. The one and only question is, all rooms are the same. What are you? Sakura writes the question on the sketchbook to show it to Zero. Unlike Sakura, Seiji has evil intentions. Since he has the tablet, he decides to delay sending the answer until after 25 minutes. By then, Zero, his biggest opponent, will be drowned, and in the remaining 5 minutes, he plans to choose the correct answer and get the rings. A fight erupts between him and Sakura, who has entered the game only because of Zero, believing he would help him get to the 100 billion yen. When Seiji refuses to show him the options, Zero responds that it's actually better if he doesn't see them. To start with, Zero instructs Sakura to look around the room to find a clue. When Sakura doesn't find anything, he thinks of finding ways to save Zero. Even if he can't get a ring, if Zero survives, Sakura can still use his help in the next games. Desperate to save Zero, he grabs a steel pot from the corner of the room to break the glass. Below the steel object, he finds the letters A and O written on the floor. When Seiji shows the placement of the letters to Zero, Zero instructs them to check other corners too. However, upon investigation, they are unable to find anything. Suddenly, Sakura reveals that he might have decoded the answer. He thinks that the correct answer is C. It's because the letters AO sound like a Japanese word meaning blue. The word blue reminds him of the sea, so that's why he believes C is the correct answer. However, Zero isn't satisfied with the answer. He believes that AO doesn't represent letters but is actually symbols. Suddenly, he gets an idea. He tells Sakura to draw a triangle in the shape of the room. He then has to draw a curve at the corner. It then dawns upon them that it represents the curve drawn at the triangle's corner, and O represents the symbol of degree. Zero now realizes that calculating a certain angle of this triangular room is the breakthrough to solving the question, but he doesn't know how to calculate the angles. What he needs to calculate an angle is the length of the sides. To get the length, he orders Sakura and Seiji to count the number of panels on both sides. After getting the answer, Zero realizes that the room they are in is an isosceles triangle. He then orders Sakura to count the panels of the other room too. Getting the length of the sides of the other room, Zero realizes that the room is one of the two isosceles triangles put together. Noticing the dimensions of the triangles, he believes that the angle they have to calculate is 36 degrees. Though they found the angle number, no one knew what to do with this information. Zero rethinks the question, which is, all the rooms are the same, so what are you? Zero suspects that if all the rooms are the same, then there must be something that connects their room with the other triangular rooms. Thinking along those lines, it seems like something connected to a triangle might be the right option. Among the options, windmill, star, and diamond have triangles in them. Zero believes that thinking in this way might lead them to a solution. He helps Sakura understand some math so he can also play his part in finding a solution by thinking outside the box. Amid the discussion, Sakura ponders the importance of the angle being 36 degrees. Suddenly, he comes up with an idea. 3 plus 6 equals 9, and that reminds him of the card game named Kabu, which is a Japanese word for turnip. Turnip is typically cut into slices, just like the rooms are divided into separate pieces. They quickly check the tablet and are surprised to find that turnip is one of the options. However, the calculation doesn't stop there. If all the rooms are the same according to the question, then all of them have a 36-degree angle. If 360 degrees is divided by 36, then the answer will be 10, indicating that there are 10 rooms. Whatever their shape is, the shape that all of them make together from above is the answer to this question. Meanwhile, other teams choose a random option out of desperation. Mineko marks their answers as wrong, making it evident that all the participants in the cylinder will die today. Only Zero and Shurub are left behind. Zero figures out that they are inside a decagon, and if the rooms are combined, they will make a star shape. Before they can select the option, Zero reconsiders and stops his team members, saying that their answer might be wrong. When Zero sees the options again, he realizes that the correct answer is not star but windmill. If it were a star, the layouts of the rooms wouldn't be facing the same way, but they do if they are arranged like a windmill. While Sakura chooses the right option, the water level in Zero's tank gets full, causing him to drown. Mineko receives the answer, and to her dismay, windmill is the right option. With a heavy heart, she presses the button, uncuffing all the participants and draining the water inside the cylinder. As the water drains slowly, Sakura uses the metal rod to break the glass so Zero's life can be saved. Soon, the water drains, but Zero is still unconscious. Seiji, who was rude to him the whole time, steps in to conduct CPR on him. Luckily, Zero regains consciousness. Since they have won the game, each of the team members gets one ring. The next game is called The Anchor. It's a quiz game hosted by Kotaro. While explaining the game to the participants, Kotaro reveals that it is a game that tests the bond between friends. The main feature of this quiz show is the anchor, which has a very sharp blade beneath it. The anchor will rise if they answer the question right, but if they answer it wrong, the anchor will descend. The rate of descent is determined by the number of points. They will be shown a panel with letters of the alphabet from B to Z. Each question is answered by a different person. Each person will take responsibility for their own question, but a person's mistake will be a joint responsibility. The game begins, and Hiroshi chooses the letter G. The question was pretty simple, but he couldn't answer it, resulting in the team getting one down point. The next question is asked to Zero. Being the genius that he is, he immediately gives the correct answer, gaining 2 up points. Now, it is Yuki's turn. He is asked, what does ROAS stand for? Yuki gives the correct answer by responding that it stands for Return on Advertising Spend. While playing the game, Zero senses something strange. The anchor's position hasn't changed, regardless of whether answering a question is right or wrong. He is not sure if his observation is correct since the anchor is moving very fast. When Hiroshi selects the alphabet N, instead of the number, alphabet A appears. It is when Kotaro reveals that A means an anchor question. Correct answers are saved as up points, while wrong answers are saved as down points. The anchor hasn't risen or lowered at all, but the next anchor question will decide the fate of its movement. If the answer is wrong, depending on how many points are in the down section, the anchor will be lowered, and vice versa. Now, there are 4 points for correct answers and 1 point for an incorrect answer. No matter how many questions they answer correctly, if they get the anchor question wrong, everything will be in vain. Since Hiroshi has selected an anchor question, he is asked what is drawn on the back of a 1,000 yen note. Hiroshi delves into his memories and responds that a crane is drawn on the back of the note. Unfortunately, his answer is wrong, and the anchor is lowered by 1 point as a result. Kotaro informs the team about 6 anchor questions. Zero quickly realizes that the anchor questions are probably the letters in the word anchor. Therefore, he must select the anchor questions before the host catches on to his strategy. However, this time, he opts to choose T to avoid Kotaro catching onto his plan. It's a straightforward math question, and being a math teacher, Zero promptly answers it. Now it's Yuki's turn. He's confronted with a challenging question about the Greek name for the pattern on a Chinese bowl. There's no way Yuki could know the answer, resulting in the team losing 4 points. Mineko instructs Kotaro to allow Zero to answer the question. Zero promptly provides the correct answer, shocking Kotaro. However, Zero doesn't receive a point for it. He continues to guess the correct answers, frustrating Kotaro, who wants to see him lose the game. This is when Mineko suggests asking Zero an unsolvable question. Kotaro then asks Zero how many lovers Mr. Zazen currently has. After careful consideration, Zero responds with 53. However, the answer is incorrect. The correct answer is 365. Mr. Zazen has a different lover for each day of the year. Initially happy at Zero's failure, Kotaro soon realizes how close Zero was to the correct answer. Zero answered 53. Assuming that Mr. Zazen changes his girlfriend every week. So, it wasn't a random guess but a calculated deduction, which enrages Kotaro. He can't bear the fact that Zero is a genius. Now it's Hiroshi's turn, and he decides to choose R. Recognizing it as an anchor question that Hiroshi won't be able to answer, Zero begins acting as if Kotaro had wanted him to from the start. Knowing Kotaro enjoys causing discord between friends, Zero starts speaking rudely to Hiroshi, blaming him for all the mishaps in his life. While Kotaro is amused by their exchange, Zero subtly gestures to Hiroshi to choose another letter. Seeing Zero make a fox gesture with his hand, Hiroshi quickly understands what Zero is trying to convey. So, he opts for the letter F. As expected, Hiroshi gives the wrong answer, resulting in more down points. It's now Zero's turn, but Kotaro gives the turn to Yuki, claiming Zero has already answered 2 questions in a row. To Zero's disappointment, Yuki selects the counter question. Predictably, he provides the wrong answer, allowing Kotaro to lower the anchor. Fortunately, the anchor still can't reach the foreheads of our participants. Zero communicates with Hiroshi using coded language, asking if he knows his motto best. Reflecting on how Zero reversed words earlier to convey a message to Sharub about the mirrors, Hiroshi reverses the words and realizes that Madab can be reversed as bottom. He finally grasps that Zero wants him to choose letters from the bottom line. Zero breathes a sigh of relief upon realizing that Hiroshi has understood the task. When Hiroshi selects V, Kotaro gives him the next question, which is worth 4 points. The question pertains to the volume of the Tokyo Dome, which is 1,240,000 cubic meters. Hiroshi is asked how many times someone could fill the Tokyo Dome using all the water in the ocean. Although the question appears challenging, Zero begins his calculations and eventually figures out the answer. However, he can't divulge it to Hiroshi due to the rules. With no clue in mind, Hiroshi selects option 3, which turns out to be incorrect. Fortunately, the team gains 4 points thanks to the wrong answer. Next is Zero's turn, and Kotaro is prepared to corner him with an unsolvable question. To avoid arousing Kotaro's suspicion that he knows the location of the anchor questions, Zero randomly selects a letter worth 4 points. Kotaro then takes some coins out of his pocket and spreads them on the counter, giving Zero 10 seconds to observe them. He hides a coin in his hand and asks Zero to guess which coin it is. Zero understands that it's just a guessing game, not a quiz, but he ponders nonetheless. Eventually, he tells Kotaro that the coin in his hand is an American coin, either a 25-cent piece, a dime, a nickel, or a penny. When Kotaro asks for evidence to support his answer, Zero points out that Kotaro arranged a pile of coins to conceal the actual coin chosen for the game. Additionally, Zero notes that there are many English surnames in Kotaro's full name, implying that his father or grandfather is American. Observing Kotaro's expression, Zero becomes certain that his guess is correct. This conclusion is derived from logic, and now he believes that the rest is up to luck. Zero believes that Kotaro has brought a 1-cent coin to the show because it's so rare that even most Americans have never seen one. As Kotaro opens his fist, it's revealed that he has a $1 coin, which is very close to Zero's guess. Even though Zero gave the wrong answer, Kotaro still can't comprehend how Zero made such a near guess. However, with the down points increasing, it becomes even more challenging for the team to win the game, let alone survive it. It's Yuki's turn, and he chooses a letter with an anchor question. Once again, it's a math problem, but Yuki is given only 10 seconds to solve it. Kotaro presses the down button, causing the anchor to lower so much that it grazes Hiroshi's forehead. Fortunately, the cut isn't deep. Once again, it's Hiroshi's turn. He's faced with a simple math problem that he has to solve in 20 seconds. Hiroshi attempts to tackle the problem the hard way, but Zero advises him that it's much simpler than he thinks. This guidance helps Hiroshi arrive at the answer before the timer runs out. Instead of awarding the team up points, Kotaro gives them down points, alleging that Zero helped Hiroshi with the answer. Next up is Yuki's turn, and he selects the letter X. It carries a 1-point question that he's unable to answer, resulting in the team gaining 1 down point. When it's Zero's turn, he chooses an anchor question, but it appears that Kotaro has prepared an even more challenging question for him. Kotaro mentions a scar of a single character on the side of his stomach, something like a souvenir from his teen years. Zero has to identify what character it is. Though it seems challenging, Zero doesn't lose hope. He starts gathering more information about Kotaro's past. Kotaro responds that he attended a high school famous for its naughty students. He admits to doing some wild things back then, resulting in the word on his stomach. When Kotaro mentions having many followers, Zero catches him. He points out that despite Kotaro's attempts to boast, he doesn't come across as someone who would excel in physical altercations, nor would he be popular among peers due to his unpleasant personality. Moreover, Zero notes Kotaro's enjoyment of their arguments, and his discomfort when they get along, suggesting he lacked genuine friendships and grew to despise the idea of them. Kotaro's facial expressions confirm that what Zero was saying rings true. At this point, Zero proposes another theory. He asks if the character on Kotaro's stomach is a remnant of the bullying he endured. Furthermore, Zero deduces that Kotaro's ability to talk about it with pride indicates it's not a symbol of humiliation for him. Zero believes that Kotaro has hidden a message meant just for him, the lone victory amidst his days of being bullied. When Zero recalls Kotaro's full name, Shiroyama Kotaro, he immediately realizes that Shiro is the character he etched on his stomach. Shiro from his name means castle, but when written upside down, it forms another word, Rashi, meaning killer. When Kotaro removes his shirt, it's confirmed that Zero's guess is correct. Mineko laughs at Kotaro for losing to Zero once again. Fortunately, the anchor moves upward due to Zero's correct answer. The game continues, with Yuki gaining 4 up points and Hiroshi receiving 4 down points. Now it's Zero's turn. Believing the anchor question is an O, Zero selects the alphabet, only to discover that Kotaro has changed the location of the anchor panel. Now, even if Zero manages to answer all the questions correctly and accumulate a bunch of up points, it will all be in vain if he is unable to obtain an anchor panel. It's Yuki's turn, but he fails to answer the following question, adding 4 more down points to the panel. The following question is directed at Hiroshi, who, as expected, can't answer it. With a total of 12 down points accumulated, no one can alter the fate of the team until Zero obtains an anchor panel. From the remaining alphabets, Zero chooses I, hoping to receive an anchor question. However, Mineko's team swiftly places point 1 at I, attempting to prevent him from getting an anchor question. Despite this, Zero answers the question correctly and gains an up point. It's Yuki's turn again, and to everyone's surprise, he receives an anchor question. While Kotaro asks the questions, Zero begins to create a scene. He bursts into tears, expressing that he has considered every possible scenario but sees no way of winning. He can't forgive himself for not being able to protect the lives of his friends. Zero's reaction distracts Yuki, and he is unable to answer within the given time frame. As Yuki fails to provide the complete answer, the anchor will now be lowered 12 points down, spelling doom for the team. With Kotaro pressing the start button, it seems inevitable that all 3 participants will meet a ruthless end. However, things take an unexpected turn when the anchor gets stuck to the platform and is unable to reach the participants. It turns out that Zero had already calculated that the anchor would be lowered enough to hit the platform. He deliberately distracted Yuki earlier to ensure he gave the wrong answer. it's revealed that Zero had been calculating the measurements from the beginning. Zero calculated the distance between his head and the anchor using his arm. He then monitored the anchor's position each time it was lowered by a certain number of down points. Through his observations, he determined the exact number of down points needed to bring the anchor to the platform. Everything unfolded according to his plan, and he successfully saved the lives of his friends through critical thinking and careful observation. Unable to accept his defeat, Kotaro decides to restart the game. However, Mr. Zazen interrupts Kotaro, declaring Zero as the winner of the game. It turns out that the remaining 2 letters had 10 points set by Kotaro. If Yuki had been able to answer the anchor question correctly, they would have been able to keep the anchor above their heads, even if they got the last question wrong. Kotaro wouldn't allow them to clear the game so quickly. If they tried to play until the end, then it would have ensured their deaths. For altering the rules, Mr. Zazen promptly kicks Kotaro out of the building without even compensating him for his job. He then commends Zero and presents the team with the rings they deserve. Before departing, he encourages Zero to entertain him again with another life and death struggle. The next game is called The Witch's Manor. It requires 21 players, and if they win, each player receives 1 ring. A countdown of 25 minutes begins, and the players receive instructions through a letter emerging from the witch's mouth. The witch explains that there's only one way for all 21 captives to escape the manor alive. They must break the spell cast on the room. The letter also provides a clue. Hidden numbers within the room must be located, and the spell upon them must be broken so that the players can escape. Making a mistake will result in death. The correct solution starts with the soldiers standing to the left of the cannon. The 11 soldiers to the right of the cannonball are numbered, with numbers 9 and 10 being 4 and 2 respectively. The players have 2 chances to submit the answer. Everyone believes that Zero, being a genius, should come up with the answer in a minute. This impatient attitude infuriates Hiroshi. First, Zero examines the panel where the answer will be entered. He notices that there are spaces for 2 numbers in both input areas, indicating that the number consists of 2 digits. While exploring the room, Shikara points out that there are numbers written on each soldier depicted on the room's wallpaper. The other players start counting the number of soldiers, but Zero remains focused on deciphering the letter. Eventually, he realizes that the witch mentioned hidden numbers, but since the numbers on the soldiers are visible, they can't be the ones they're looking for. Realizing this, Zero addresses the players and informs them that the numbers written on the soldiers are fake and intended to mislead and confuse them. He believes that there must be hidden numbers in the room similar to those found in temperature or humidity readings. Zero then comes up with an idea. He instructs the team members to stand with their backs against the wall and spread out their arms. After obtaining their heights, he informs them that the measurement of one's wingspan from fingertip to fingertip is roughly the same as their height. By adding their heights, he calculates the measurement of each wall to be approximately 14.14 meters. Zero then explains that each side of the room measures the square root of 2. Seiji asks Zero for evidence to support his theory. Zero then points to the cannonball mentioned in the letter. According to Zero, the cannonball serves as the decimal point, and the suits of armor on the wall represent digits within the number. This means that if they apply the square root of 2 to this series of numbers, the 9th and 10th soldiers after the decimal point are the numbers they should input. To confirm Zero's claims, Seiji and Yuki perform their own calculations and discover that the number after the decimal point also includes the number 21. Using Japanese wordplay, they interpret this number as the 21 people were massacred. Zero was aware of this interpretation but chose not to reveal it to avoid causing panic among the group. Suddenly, one of the participants collapses on the ground after being injured by a spear coming out of the wall. Panic ensues, and soon, all the spears emerge from their holes, with the wall closing in. With only 16 minutes remaining, Zero decides they can't waste any more time. He suggests a method for the team members to calculate the 9th and 10th digits after the decimal point of the square root of 2. This way, they can verify the accuracy of their calculations collectively, which is more reliable than relying on a single person. After careful calculation, Zero determines that the 9th digit is likely 2. Before they can find the 10th number, a group of participants confronts Zero, suggesting that he might be approaching the puzzle incorrectly. In a bid to assist Zero during this difficult moment, Seiji pretends to doubt him. The others join in, supporting Seiji, but when Seiji performs his own calculation and confirms that Zero was correct all along, the participants regain faith in Zero. They resume working together to find the 10th number. Soon, they discover that the 10th digit is likely 3. and it becomes clear that the 9th and 10th digits after the decimal are 2 and 3, respectively. With confidence, Zero inputs the numbers, but to his shock, the screen displays that his answer is wrong. This further angers the rebels, who decide to overthrow Zero. Amidst the chaos, Yuki approaches Zero and slaps him, asking if he can't lead them out of the room, then who will? This motivates Zero, and he recommences his efforts to solve the puzzle. A riot erupts between the two groups, with the rebels attempting to input their answer while Zero's followers block their path. Amidst the chaos, Zero refocuses on the witch's letter and realizes that he has overlooked soldier number 11. The letter states that the 9th digit and the 10th digit, and also the 11th digit, all play a specific role. While Zero is still trying to decipher this, a pair of sunglasses falls near the letter, revealing something crucial to Zero. He realizes that there is a spell written around the letter in which the letters are mirrored. The spell indicates that there is a key carefully cut round on the right of the 10th. Zero understands that the number 23 will be affected by the number of the 11th soldier in the line. Cut round means that they have to round off the number. If the last number is 4 or less, the digits will be rounded down, and if it is 5 or more, the numbers will be rounded up. Upon careful observation, Zero finally deduces the answer, which is 24. With the spears closing in, Zero inputs the numbers. To everyone's relief, it is the correct answer. The walls then move backward, and the spears retract into their holes once again. The game appears to be over until the witch starts shaking and shatters. A 3-minute countdown begins. Additionally, more holes appear on the walls, revealing that there will be a rain of arrows from each side. A new letter emerges from the witch's mouth, in which the witch declares her intention to still kill them all. She provides another clue. Think, for a moment, about the answer you found, 24, and the number of people assembled, 21. These numbers have a sort of relationship. Amidst the chaos, Shikara discovers some shields that emerged from the witch when it broke. He positions them around himself to shield himself from the arrows. Upon seeing Shikara taking cover behind the shields, other participants follow suit. Zero notices a pattern on the floor and finally decrypts the witch's clue. If 21 players use the 24 panels from the witch's broken body, they can protect everyone from the arrows. When Zero shares this insight with the others, they immediately begin arranging the panels on the floor. With 1 minute remaining, everyone is inside the barricade except for the player who was previously injured. Instead of leaving him behind, Zero decides to help him to safety. Witnessing Zero's struggle, Seiji joins in to assist. With just 5 seconds left, the trio is still outside the protective barricade. However, just before time runs out, they manage to enter the barricade. Quickly ducking, they avoid getting hit by the rain of arrows. As the game ends, everyone celebrates their success. Now, Zero only needs one more ring to claim his reward. However, the celebration is short-lived, as sirens blare and the announcer reveals that Shurub has secured his 4th and final ring. Instead of selecting Shurub as the next chairman, Mr. Zazen decides to arrange a final competition between him and Zero called Breakdown. First, the players must surrender their rings. They are then provided with 4 easily breakable boxes, each containing the rings earned during the competition. To protect their rings, each player receives 8 iron ring guards. When they place the guards inside the boxes, the other players won't know which rings are protected. Once a guard is used, it cannot be used again. The objective is not only to safeguard their own rings but also to determine which of their opponent's boxes contains an unguarded ring. Taking a guess, they will use a hammer to break their opponent's boxes. The first person to crush even one of their opponent's rings will be declared the winner. Each player will have 1 chance per round, with 3 rounds in total. If, at the end of the game, both players have protected their rings, the player with the most guards remaining will be declared the winner. To determine the order of play, the secretary presents a roulette wheel. Shurub declines to spin the roulette and offers the opportunity to Zero. When Zero spins it, he loses, allowing Shurub to start each round. Shurub's eyes are covered with a blindfold so Zero can place the guards inside the boxes. In order to observe how Shurub sniffs out unprotected boxes, Zero decides to use 4 guards to protect all of his boxes. Now, it is time for Shurub's attack. His blindfold is removed, but he refuses to attack, stating that Zero has guarded all 4 of his boxes and there would be no point in attacking. His extraordinary observation skills leave everyone shocked. The boxes are removed, and it becomes clear that Shurub has guessed correctly. Now, it is Zero's turn to attack. With his eyes blindfolded, Shurub places the guards. As soon as Zero removes the blindfold, Shadowy informs him that he has used only one guard. This further confuses Zero, who is unsure whether to trust Shadowy or not. Observing Shadowy's focused gaze on one of the boxes, Zero realizes that it might be the unguarded one. Falling into the trap as expected, Zero strikes the box Shadowy was fixating on, only to find it guarded. Shadowy deliberately fed false information to Zero, who played right into his hands. Now, it is Shadowy's turn to attack. Zero uses 3 guards, leaving one of the boxes unprotected. As Shadowy prepares to attack, Zero questions how he knew that all 4 boxes were protected in the previous round. Shadowy explains that he could see gaps in Zero. When Zero inquires about the gaps, Shadowy reveals that he has always been able to perceive gaps and seams in everything. This revelation dawns on Zero, and he realizes that Shadowy possesses extraordinary instincts. Despite Zero's efforts to conceal his expressions, Shadowy still manages to see right through him. He points out that Zero has used 3 guards this round, leaving only 1 box without a guard. Since Zero has only 1 guard left, Shadowy believes that even if he makes it past this round, he can't win. With that said, he launches his attack but is unable to break the unguarded box. Now, it is Zero's turn. Since Shadowy had 7 guards left, he uses 4 guards for this round. Shadowy even informs Zero that he has used 4 guards. Zero launches his attack and realizes that Shadowy was telling the truth all along. The final round begins, and Zero has only 1 guard to protect his boxes. Reflecting on how Shadowy requested to team up and said to him that he wanted to change the world, Zero realizes that Shadowy is willing to sacrifice his life for that purpose. Zero tells Shadowy that he needs someone he can trust, emphasizing that no matter how many followers he has, they will eventually become his enemies. Despite gaining authority and using it, the world won't change. Shadowy then asks Zero where he can find people he can trust. Zero responds that Shadowy can place his trust in him. He acknowledges the gaps and flaws in this unjust world, knowing that Shadowy wants to save it regardless of whether he lives or dies in the process. However, Zero doesn't want Shadowy to gamble with his life like that. He emphasizes that every life here is worth more than 100 billion yen. Zero warns Shadowy that if he forgets this, he will become a slave to the ideology of money and power. Zero aims to protect Shadowy from that world so that Shadowy can protect others from it. Unlike before, Shadowy is now unable to read Zero's expressions. He believes that this time, Zero is not thinking about the boxes. He is only thinking about him. Upon hearing Zero's words expressing his desire to change the world, the other participants begin chanting his name and urge him to save the world, just as he saved them in the games. Shadowy launches an attack, and to everyone's shock, he hits the only box that was guarded. There are still chances that Zero can win this game. Now, it is Zero's turn to attack. Unbeknownst to him, Mineko has prepared something to ensure he loses the game. A fake ring box. It appears to contain a guard, but it's actually just a regular box. She believes that Zero will fall for this easy trap and avoid hitting the only unguarded box. When Shadowy receives the new box, he immediately realizes Mineko's plan. Zero can see through a crack that the box is guarded, but Shadowy tells him the truth, saying that the box is unguarded. Putting his complete faith in Shadowy, Zero hits the fake guarded box, causing the ring inside to break. According to the rules, Zero has won the game, and will become the chairman of Zazen Group. Shadowy is satisfied because he knows that he has placed power in the right hands. Saying that they will meet again someday, Shadowy leaves the place. With Zero announced as the winner, his friends celebrate his success. Mr. Zazen calls Zero inside the office and congratulates him for becoming his successor. Amid their conversation, suddenly, Mr. Zazen feels a severe pain in his chest. After he is taken for treatment, his secretary informs Zero about Mr. Zazen's will. If something were to happen to him, then the Zazen Group would be transferred to his successor immediately. Learning that Zero will become the owner of trillions, his friends can't control their happiness. However, their joy is short-lived as Mineko approaches Zero and asks for a final battle with her. Zero could easily refuse the request. However, when he sees Mineko's brother, Mitsuru, in a wheelchair, he can't help but agree to the battle. It turns out that Mitsuru is none other than Zero's old friend, who lost his legs partially because of Zero. Until now, Zero has been living with this burden. Mineko hates Zero and holds a grudge against him, because she believes Zero is responsible for her brother's condition. The final game, Day and Night, begins. It is an unusual poker game, played according to the Dream Kingdom's original rules. Zero will be given 26 cards containing only clubs and spades, while Miniko will have the cards containing diamonds and hearts. There will be 3 rounds. Using the 26 cards, Zero has to make 5 hands of 5 cards. From the strongest to the weakest, the hands he can make from his cards are royal straight flush, flush, straight, 2 pair, 1 pair, and the hog. The first rule is that they cannot repeat hands in this game. For example, in a single game, they cannot create 2 royal straight flushes. They will hide their hands behind the screen so their opponent cannot see. Both of them have to guess what hand their opponent has made. If a player is able to make a stronger hand than their opponent, they will take the number of the highest card in their hand and add it to their score. For example, if they were to win with 1 pair, they would gain 8 points. Moreover, an ace does not stand for 1 point, but 14, the highest card value. If the 2 hands are the same, then the win will go to the person whose turn it is. It means, on their turn, they should match a hand that is stronger than their opponent's, and if they are the same, they get points anyway. If a player were to select a royal straight flush on their turn, and pit it against their opponent's royal straight flush, they would win. And because it includes an ace, it would add up to 14 points. In the first 2 rounds, each player will receive a turn. In the final turn, they will reveal their cards at the same time. In the 3rd round, the person with the better hand will win. However, if the 3rd round ends in a draw, they will draw cards from a deck, and whoever draws the highest card will win. They will use a dart board to make the other person reveal the cards they hit. For example, if they hit ace and king, their opponent will have to show them the cards that they hit on the dartboard. So, the dartboard is a necessary tool for figuring out what hand their opponent has made. For each of the first 2 rounds, the players will have 2 darts to throw. In the 3rd, they will have 3 darts. To start the game and to determine the turn order, they play the roulette wheel again, and Miniko wins. The first round starts and both players set up their cards. Miniko, skilled at the game, confidently throws her darts at ace and king. Zero tries to aim his dart at good cards, but being new, 1 dart hits the wall while the other hits card 8. Now, the real game starts. With Zero's ace and king cards shown, Miniko easily identifies the hand type, getting 14 points for her ace. She keeps identifying hand types and getting more points. Now it's Zero's turn. He watches closely and identifies 2 of Miniko's hands, earning 22 points. In the final turn, Miniko scores 41 points. Suddenly, a guard tells Miniko something, shocking her deeply. The guard has brought the chairman's message to Miniko. If she loses the game, her brother will be killed as punishment. She'll face consequences for tarnishing the Dream Kingdom with her personal vendetta against Zero. With that, the guard escorts Mitsuru out, adding more pressure on Miniko. The second round starts, and Zero hits his darts on the king and queen. Meanwhile, Miniko aims at ace and 7. Zero begins and spots 2 of Miniko's strongest hands, earning a total of 49 points. He notices Miniko always plays her highest cards. Considering this, he plans to arrange his cards to appear as if they're his highest, but they won't be. With this strategy, Zero gradually gains control of the game. However, Miniko fights back, ending the round 6 points ahead of Zero. The third round begins, and they arrange their hands. Miniko throws her darts, hitting king, queen, and ace. Zero only manages to strike ace, 7, and 8. Miniko appears relaxed as she can clearly see Zero's hands. She uses her strongest hand to reveal what she believes is Zero's royal straight flush. However, when Zero flips the cards, Miniko is shocked to realize it's not a royal straight flush but the weakest card posing as the strongest one. Though Miniko gains points because of her ace, she wastes her strongest card, which could have helped her hit other cards. Now, she needs to get rid of whatever hand holds the ace. She believes that the ace, king, and queen of spades are all in separate hands, making it impossible for Zero to make a royal straight flush with his remaining ace. To shift the game in her favor, Miniko counters Zero's straight flush with her own. As soon as Miniko plays the cards, Zero reveals she has fallen right into the trap. The hand that appeared flush turns out to be just one pair. Having witnessed her skill with darts, it was clear to Zero which cards she would likely aim to reveal. In round 3, they each had 3 darts, and Miniko had the first attack. For Zero, it felt like a handicap at first, but knowing the cards Miniko would aim for, he set a trap. Now it's Zero's turn to counterattack. Firstly, he takes her flush with his own flush. When Miniko asks how Zero was so sure of his cards, he reveals his secret move. He noticed from the beginning that Miniko always arranged her cards in ascending order. When she showed her cards, it became quite easy for Zero to understand her hands. Finally, he attacks her straight, and the third round ends with a tie. Now, they will determine a winner by picking a card from the top of the deck. Miniko can't do anything now. It's all up to luck. Firstly, Zero picks a card, which turns out to be a king. Now, if Miniko gets an ace, only then will she win and ensure her brother's safety. Her hands begin shaking with fear. She then grabs the card and is relieved to see that it is indeed an ace. Miniko wins the game and becomes the chairman of the Zazen group. Yuki applies for a job at her company, and with a deck in his hand, shows her how she won the game. It turns out that when Zero reached out to grab a card, he already had 2 cards hidden in his palm, a king and an ace. While attempting to pick up the card, he discreetly replaced it with one he had already chosen. He did all of this because when the guard arrived to warn Miniko about her brother, Zero immediately suspected something. He couldn't save his friend once, and this time, he decided to be there for him. By giving Miniko her victory, he managed to ensure Mitsuru's safety. Zero then meets Mitsuru, who has forgiven him and is ready to move on. Mr. Zazen acknowledged Zero's efforts in the games and gave him the 1 billion yen he deserved. Zero entrusted the responsibility of distributing the money among the needy to his friends. The series ends with Zero once again pursuing his ambitions that he had set aside because of Mitsuru.